Welcome back to Optimal Play. I'm still Brandon.
I'm maybe Kyle this time?
And Kyle, we've done it after an over 10-minute marathon of recording these bumpers. We've,
It's warm in here.
we've recorded the intros and outros for all 5 of our videos reviewing the cards in the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth.
We are impressive.
Yeah, I know, we did it. So, we'd love to know what you think if you've enjoyed these videos. In addition to liking and subscribing, maybe suggest other games that would be fun to, like, anyone reviews board games, but do they really, like, do kind of these card-by-card, like, discussions? I think they're kind of cool and would be interested to know what you might... Like, Kyle, what other games should we do this with? Ready, go.
On the spot. Forgotten Waters. It's just... can't leave my mind right now.
No, we played that with a group of friends night before last. Yeah. Completely inappropriate, irrelevant review of Forgotten Waters. Great game, right?
Yeah, great game.
Yeah, go play it.
Also, Lord of the Rings is a thing.
Oh, should we get to that part of it?
No, let's just talk about Forgotten Waters for a bit.
All right, we'll do that. You watch. Actually, this is probably our most exciting review because it's where we get to Gandalf, which
Ooh.
I do remember. Even though we recorded this 6 months ago and don't remember a lot of what we said,
I do remember Gandalf
being pretty wowed by Gandalf.
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah, right?
We love things that are different.
I know. Finally breaks the symmetricality of the 10 heroes before him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, this hero does this slightly different thing.
Yep. So look forward to that.
Definitely.
I know I will.
Can't wait.
See you on the other side. All right. You may have noticed in, I don't know about the deep dives into Middle Earth, but the next character is the first woman dwarf that I have ever seen in Middle Earth. Like, I don't think there are any women dwarves in the movies or the books or the Hobbit or any of the Fantasy Flight Lord of the Rings games up till this point. I actually know for a fact that this is like brand new. This is not actually reusing art from the card game.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many cards in the LCG. I cannot keep them all in my mind.
Sure. And this is definitely Fantasy Flight does this. This game is largely, I think, reusing art from that game.
Cool.
But no, brand new character here. Dees the dwarf. She has 4 might. That's her specialty, but can only have 3 inspiration. After you test, you may spend 1 fate icon to place 1 card from the test on top of your deck.
Oh,
Oh,
that's interesting. You're not spending inspiration. You're spending a fate icon.
yeah. So you need to have at least 1 fate icon left that you did not spend inspiration on, right? Because if you converted it, then it's not available for this.
This seems great.
Yeah, it kind of harkens to Gimli, right? Because it's also putting cards on top of your deck after a test.
Yeah, but his is specifically an attack. This is after you test. No clause. No once per round.
Yeah, it seems super good.
Seems super good.
Yeah. And she starts with the hammer, which we also didn't look at, but it's just kind of it's a smashy might. It's a smashy might weapon. And yeah, okay. So she's clearly, I think, just based on being high might, she's probably a fighter. She's recommended to use ring mail like Gimli, so she's gonna play a lot like Gimli in a lot of ways.
I see that.
But maybe her cards are different.
Find out. Well, we are starting off with Fury, which I believe is a Gimli card.
Yes, you're right.
And it has a fate icon. When you attack, you may spend any amount of fate any amount of inspiration to add an equal number of hits.
Oh, that is... go ahead. Finish reading, then I'll give my thoughts on the iconography here.
We have kinship again, so we are sticking with the kinship dwarves. I won't reread that. Strength of Thrain. Once per round, after you perform a might test, gain 1 inspiration. And it also has sprint 1. And then there's 2 copies of Fireheart, which is increasing her spirit by 1. And then once per round, when you test, you may add a fate icon. Strike 2. Okay, I have a question now.
I have questions too.
Did I misread Fury in the past?
I don't know.
I think I did. I don't think this says spend any amount of inspiration. I think this says spend any amount of fate icons in the test to add an equal number of hits, which is far better.
Significantly better.
I feel like we misread Fury, right?
This is...
I need to like relearn all the rules now, because I'm like, when this icon is presented, is it fate icons or is it
yeah, because lots of the time that you spend inspiration, I think it actually spells out, right? Like Legolas's ability doesn't say you may spend leaf icon to move one, right? It says spend n inspiration.
Yeah.
So I think Fury actually is spend the icons from the test. And it's maybe the only time in the core set that you do that, or maybe there's others that we also have misunderstood.
I feel like I need to go, we just need to redo the video from last night.
Yeah, all right.
We completely messed everything up.
Look forward to our second review of the cards in
I'm sure
Lord of the Rings core set.
At least 2 hours long.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, potential major misunderstanding of Fury, not only in our video, but every time that I've played with the card.
Yep, same.
And weird. Okay. And then what Fireheart is doing is it's adding a fate icon to the test.
To the test, so that you could then convert to a success using inspiration.
Right. Which synergizes. It doesn't. So that doesn't seem that valuable with her because her inspiration threshold is so low. She's not usually going to be sitting on a lot. And so because she probably drew one or two naturally, what is another one? But it is nice to have with her ability.
And it's also nice to have with Fury, now that we know how Fury works.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah. Fury just converts that to a hit. Yeah. It's kind of like once per round when if you use it on an attack test, you get an extra hit.
Seems great.
Yeah. And then we're 3 for 3 now in the innate character success cards dealing with spirit. I don't know if that's supposed to be a theme of this expansion or what, but it says increase your spirit by 1. Yeah. And the other two both had convert a test to a spirit test. I don't know what's going on with that.
The shadows are scary and we need spirit for courage.
I guess, yeah, and maybe the campaign added by this expansion is going to rely on spirit more than in the past. But I have not felt like it's a key.
No, we called it. I think we called it the dump stat last time, right? Or was that?
Was that wisdom? I think that was wisdom because we were talking about Aragorn.
Yeah, because spirit does help you in darkness. It's always the thing tested in darkness, or almost always.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so if there's a lot of darkness in this campaign, which I was speculating that already because the new tiles are all the Mines of Moria and forests, and then I'd say that
paths.
yeah, right, it's shattered paths, and then all these cards we're seeing are pointing to that being the case too.
Right. I will say that Strength of Thrain is amazing too.
Yeah, what you just leave it in play, get the fail card out of your deck, and gain an inspiration every time you attack.
Yeah,
or once per round when you attack. If you're using the might weapon, like you probably should with her,
seems amazing.
Yeah, I'd say she's off to a good start, especially now that we understand how the game works.
3 hours in, people. That's how long it
takes. She is recommended to be the Smith role, which why don't you read these, because I can see I need to dig a card out to refer to. This is the first card I've ever seen refer to another card by name, so great. You fill the air.
I shall. So the Smith starts in play with Reforging. After setup, equip the Hammer and Tongs trinket, which Brandon is going to fetch for us. During your turn, you may discard this skill to prepare a skill from your discard pile. And then she has 2 copies of Thrice Forged Steel, which are her successes, or which are Smith's successes. You can strike with this skill when another hero in your space attacks, and it is strike 2. Okay.
We'll circle back to the Hammer and Tongs in a second. Thrice Forged Steel if you strike when another hero attacks, are you adding to their attack, or
You
are
are.
you just you're not just doing 2 hits
No.
separate? Okay, good,
Yeah.
because that would be bad. That would just bounce off of armor most of the time.
Yeah, that would be real bad. Yeah,
but the ability to strike with this on your own or someone else's attack, yeah, that seems fine.
It's nice. It's a success.
I think, yeah, it's a success. But it's not the worst thing.
No, if you're trying to take out a boss, maybe.
So reforging starts you with your signature assets, hammer and tongs. It's a trinket. So it's got 3 uses. It uses those trinket tokens like any other trinket. You can use it 3 times. It says when you attack or test to negate damage or fear, you may deplete this trinket to convert 1 fate to 1 success. So it's a 3-time use to either negate or attack a little better. Okay.
Seems good.
Yeah. And then reforging itself just discards to replace itself from your discard pile, leaving you with the hammer and tongs. It's not like this leaves play if you get rid of reforging. Yeah, that's cool. It's different. I like when the expansion does things that the base game didn't do. This is up
So
there.
do you ever press, so like, all right, you discard this at some point to get some great card from your discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever re-prepare reforging? What do you think?
No.
No.
Well, wait. Yes.
Well,
it's better than preparing a weakness.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it gets the failure out of your deck and has the ability to replace itself.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I definitely prepare it when my Scout 2 is reforging and a weakness.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't think of any other time. Yeah, it definitely seems like the starting and play part is by far the most important part of this card. Cool. Okay, I don't think the Hammer of Tongs like are that splashy on their own.
I think it's a very mild effect that can do a nice thing 3 times.
Well said. Very neutral.
Well, it's not splashy. It's not like you're shooting fireballs, but you're just making it just a little bit better. It's like kind of like having 3 inspiration.
Gandalf is in this box, so we might be throwing fireballs, but
let's find out.
But first, we have more fun Smith cards.
3.
Like unbowed, unbowed.
Unbowed, I think.
I don't think this is a word I have ever seen, even though it looks like a normal English word. Anyway, it says your inspiration limit is increased by 2. But then in parentheses, it reminds you that if the skill is discarded, you have to discard down to your inspiration limit. And it has rest 1. Industrious. After you prepare the skill, a hero in your space may place 1 depletion token on an equipped trinket. And it has sprint 1, strike 1. And there's 2 copies of Industrious. Okay, so maybe we're starting to see what the Smith is about.
I think so.
All right, I have nothing to say on other than I can't say it. I have nothing to say on Unbowed.
I think isn't Game of Thrones have something like Unbound, Unbroken? I don't know. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. Sorry.
I did, but that's not, that reference is not coming to me.
Great.
All right. How likely are you to buy cards for your deck to replenish trinkets?
Not very likely.
Yeah.
But maybe in this class you do.
Keep in mind though that if you are still a Delver and using its basic cards, you have this trinket that is Hammer and Tongs is fine.
Yeah.
Adding, like, I won't say no to adding tokens to it.
Yeah. And I also think this answers our question about whether or not there's a limit to 1 trinket in play, and I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I actually had that same thought on Reforging, because it's after setup, it adds a second trinket. So yeah, you can definitely have more than 1. Otherwise, that would be real bad.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the nice thing is that this has the top part happens when you prepare it, and then you have its keywords. Like, you're not choosing between the trinket and its keywords.
Yep.
And we'll see what other trinket support is in here. But yeah, it's fine. It's a
fine.
three. It's a 3 XP card.
Out is great for Dees just because of her pool being so low.
Yeah. Okay, 7s.
7s. Strike the Anvil has a fate icon. After a hero attacks an enemy in your space, you may discard the skill to attack that enemy and add Sunder.
Okay.
Dwarf linked rings. Before a hero tests to negate damage, you may discard the skill for that hero to scout to, and it's also guard to. Elf Right's Grace. When a hero attacks, you may discard the skill for one of their items to gain 1 success, 4 hits pierce. And lastly, Craft of Men. Before a hero attacks or tests to negate damage or fear, you may discard the skill for that hero to reveal 2 additional cards. And it's also strike 2, and those are all fate icons.
Okay, so we're seeing 2 kind of different things that the Smith does here, right? It's like modifying attacks and playing around with like basically it's modifying all of these cards, like modify heroes tests. Just some of them are attacks and some of them are defensive.
Yeah, it's essentially emboldering.
Emboldering, yeah. That sounds right.
Sure. It's enhancing their weapons and armor, right?
Yeah, which makes perfect sense for the Smith. Is it good?
I think Elf's Right's Grace isn't bad. Giving 4 hits and pierce as a single success.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing. It's not just adding 4 hits and pierce. It's adding the opportunity for that hero to spend a success on 4 hits and pierce, which obviously you're not going to use. You're not going to spend this card unless they can. But it's a little more niche than some of the cards that just add like it's no strike.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it's not as good as our Falcon companion from last night would do 3 hits and pierce just for a discard,
which I think you did not like that card.
I don't remember that.
You didn't like the Falcon. I thought it was a Raven. They're both.
Yes.
But you didn't like that, but you do like this card that seems worse than that one.
It does seem worse.
It just seems like you are anti-bird.
I have a strong anti-bird stance. It's true.
The truth always comes out on these things, Kyle.
I know. I couldn't hide it forever.
Okay, 12s.
Yeah.
Oh man, how come you get all the easy to pronounce ones? Surth Inscription?
Surth, definitely.
Okay. After you prepare the skill, gain 1 inspiration. All right, I'm on board. When a hero attacks, you may discard the skill for one of their items to gain spend 1 success for 4 hits and smite. And then Forge's Fire. When you attack, you may discard the skill to choose an equipped trinket and add 1 success for each depletion token on that trinket. Oh. Okay, let's start with that. So, a rules question, which we don't use the internet usually while we're having these conversations, so I'm not going to look it up. But do you think trinkets can go above their starting number of tokens?
Yes.
So you just put out Hammer of Tongs, never spend them, keep using what was the Industrious to add depletion tokens to it, and then use Forge's Fire to add 8 successes to each of your attacks.
And then still not be able to use any of them because you only have 4 successes on your weapon.
Well, you just have to... Well, yeah, then combine that with Surth Inscription and
the other one.
The Elven Grace...
Something.
The Elf Right's Grace. Those each add something to spend a success on. Like, okay, I can kind of see where this build is going.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things that you can dream up these amazing moments it's going to have, and then in practice, you're just not going to find all the cards when you scout that you need to build that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there are definitely some items that start with 4 depletion tokens on them. So even getting, say you use 1 or 2, even getting an extra 2 successes for a success card, I think that's worth it, right? We talked about that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, just even if this adds +2.
Yeah.
It's
think
a
that's
success, so you don't want to leave. It's a success card, so you don't want to leave it in play for that long, waiting for this perfect moment. But if every time you prep it, you can then discard it to attest that turn for 2 successes. Like that's another one that prepping it is better than leaving it on top of your deck.
Yep.
Yeah, that card seems great. The inscription
Seems not good.
I was gonna say also great.
I think it's just the direct upgrade from the elf blade. Right.
Yeah, I mean, not that one replaces another. You'd probably play both if you're into this kind of thing.
Sure. But yeah, no, it's just better in every way because it's giving you inspiration when you prepare it.
Yeah, so that right there makes it much more appealing to prepare a success card when it gives you an inspiration, because it kind of gives you a success to spend anyway.
Mhm.
And then Smite is really good. At least late in the campaign, it's still hard to come by. I have not looked at all the items in this box closely, but in the core box, there was not a lot of Smite out there.
Not a lot of Smite.
No. So I think that this card is probably something you will want to. I think really both of these are cards get 24 Delver XP, Delver Smith, get 24 Smith XP, buy these 2 cards and nothing else, and I think you'll be pretty happy with your with your Delver with your time as a I keep saying Delver, time as a Smith.
Yes.
I guess I just look at the dwarf and think she should be a Delver. Dwarf. It's kind of judgmental of me. Yeah, I wasn't going to use the R word there, but okay. All right. The woman whose name I accidentally used earlier.
Yes. Is it my turn? Eleanor. She is well-rounded. She has 3s and 4 out of the 5 stats. She has a inspiration pool of 4, and once per phase, a hero in your space may spend 1 inspiration to convert 2 fate icons to 2 successes. Once per phase. How many phases are there? 4?
2, basically. 3. There's 3, but one of them is the rally phase. So unless you're taking tests in the rally phase, this doesn't help you there. And then there's the action phase and the shadow phase.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But hey, that's better than once per round. You can at least use it once in the action phase and once in the shadow phase.
Yeah, defending and attacking, right? Or progressing.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm blanking on what they were. I feel like we've seen basically this effect printed on skill cards, like the ability to spend 1 inspiration for 2 successes. And it seems good. It's a little situational because you have to care about those. Like if you're taking a test with difficulty 2 and you already have 1 success, like this does nothing. And then you also have to have at least 2 fate icons, and you have to have inspiration to spend.
Yep.
So it's pretty situational.
It is, and I think the ability is good because it's a hero in your space, which is not always just you, but is likely just you. So it has a little bit more versatility, but I think the 2 fate icons is a high ask. Maybe you play this with forget what it was. Was it the Delver who generated more fate icons?
No, that was the Smith.
Oh, is it Smith?
Yeah. I mean, it's the hero, not the class, but yeah, that was that generates the extra fate icons. Oh wait, no, sorry. Wait. Yeah, it's Dis's card. Fireheart. Yeah, that's the
her
one.
Card and her character cards.
Yeah, so they go well together.
Yep. All right.
Unlikely duo, maybe. Okay, well, Eleanor, like I think it was Arwen before her, she's noble. And then she's fateless, which says when you test, you may discard the skill to convert all fate to successes.
Oh yeah, we saw this one.
Yeah, I think we did. Who else had this?
Also fateless.
Really? Huh. No, I don't think that was her. It might have been a card from the base box.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. It does ring a bell. She's also got Blood of Gondor. These are her success cards. She has 2 copies. And it says, when you test, you may discard this skill to reveal 3 additional cards. And it has Guard 2. And then Gift of Men. During your turn, you may discard this skill to discard 1 fear, and it has 2 fate icons. That we've seen on it.
Yes.
I think one thing that I'm picking up here now that we have more characters that I didn't really realize with just the core box is that some of these cards are like every human has this card, right? Like I think every human has Gift of Men. I think Aragorn had it.
Yeah,
and then the nobility, I think, is also indicative. Like it's something that a lot of characters will have if they are noble characters. I think that we've seen that on elves too, so it's not necessarily a race thing.
Sure.
But okay, so it's kind of neat to see some patterns there. I don't think Gift of Men is a good card, but you.
Yeah, I think Blood of Gondor is the most interesting for her with her ability.
Yeah, it's the first. This is the first one that we don't just see a spirit.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
This one buffs anything. 3 additional cards is strong.
Yeah, it is,
and it makes it quite a bit more likely that you can trigger her ability. That you'll have enough fate icons to do that.
So I think it's worth pulling the success out for a turn to hit this and get 1 inspiration for an extra 2 successes.
Yeah, I think so. That seems super good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fateless, I do think we've seen before. It's just better Test of Will, right?
Yep, just the better version. And it has no icon, so you're always going to have it prepared, ready.
Yep. Yeah, it's just like auto pass a test. Seems good.
Turns out succeeding at tests is somewhat important in games.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have found ways around it, but Eleanor is suggested to be the Traveler, completely different from the Delver or the Pathfinder.
Of course.
But it's it's another role that revolves around forward motion.
And here we go. Over the ridge and rail. After you explore a tile, another hero gains 1 inspiration. Hide and rest 1. And then she has 2 copies of Many Paths to Tread. Not at all Pathfinder. I completely agree.
No, yeah.
It is a song, which I always like to see. After you discard a token from your space, gain 1 inspiration. Or Scout 1, and it also has Sprint 1.
So after you discard a token from your space, so that's like as a result of searching or
Yep, so it's like
threat.
token, search token, threat token.
Enemies aren't tokens, are they, for this purpose? Not. Okay. That seems good.
Seems good.
Yeah, I mean, like your basic card successes, like you want it in your deck as a success. But to potentially get an inspiration, once a turn-ish, if you're searching pretty much every turn, that seems good to me.
And it works well with her ability again. Getting that inspiration fuel to make her ability proc as often as it can.
Right. And then Overridge and Rill seems really good. You wouldn't want a Traveler and a Pathfinder in your fellowship, huh? Because they'd be like competing to explore the tiles because they both get rewarded for doing so. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because it's essentially Overridge and Rill says after you explore a tile, you and another hero gain 1 inspiration, right?
True, because you get 1 when you explore.
Yeah, which I think is really powerful. And it's not nearby. It's not, anything. There's no caveat to it. It doesn't discard.
Yeah.
I think it starts in play, and I don't think it really leaves play unless you desperately need to hide or rest.
Yeah, I don't see you wanting to lose this effect and put a success or put a failure card into your deck just to rest 1.
Yeah. I guess maybe at the very end, once there's nothing else to explore, you're like, I guess I can hide.
Yeah, and then this does do nothing whatsoever on a battle map.
True, which is
right. So that's a big issue.
So you never take Traveler into the battle map, I think is what happens.
Probably not. Yeah, you always know.
You always multi-class out.
Yeah. Which is interesting. That you almost, if you're the Traveler, you almost go in planning to multi-class because it's so bad on a battle map.
Yeah, it's got to be the worst on a battle map.
And I
you're
actually
also not going to be discarding tokens that often from a battle map.
True. Yeah. So all these cards are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think now that we have more options, we might find that at least people who get into this game enough to play multiple campaigns and really consider the way they build their characters will always be multi-classing. I think that we'll quickly find that there are combos that are just better than classes have on their own, or that we especially saw in the Smith that there were two kind of like divergent way. Like there's kind of the like trinket focus, or there's the like modifying people's defense and stuff focus.
Yep.
And you only really like those two don't necessarily synergize. So you'd kind of take one half of that and then multi-class to find something else that does synergize with it, whether it's guardian or something like that. Which I think is cool. I think that's fun. It pushes you to explore those combinations.
Yeah, and multi-classing in this game is just one of the best mechanics I've seen for multi-classing. I've always multi-classed in campaigns.
Yeah, it works super smoothly and is just fun to play around with.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. In addition to songs, she's got camaraderie. During your turn, you may discard this skill for a nearby hero to discard 1 fear and scout 1. Around every corner, she's got some wordy card titles. Around every corner, once per round after you move into a space with a person, search, or terrain token, you may scout 1, and it has sprint 1. And then seasoned. Before you interact, you may discard this skill to gain 1 inspiration or become determined. And like most level 3 cards, these are all fail cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think around every corner looks like the best one of these.
Yeah, I think it's the only one I care about talking about.
Yeah, and this is what when you multi-class out of Traveler on a battle map, this is what you spend that Traveler XP on, right? Because it works on terrain tokens.
Yep.
Which battle maps have terrain tokens on almost every space.
So once this is prepared, do you ever not proc this in a round unless you're going in to fight, and even sometimes that'll still proc it?
I mean, pretty much any time you move is going to trigger this. Yeah. The only time you wouldn't trigger it is if you don't move.
Yeah.
If you're too busy doing other things to move.
True.
But if moving lets you scout 1, then that's an extra incentive to move.
Yeah,
that card seems great. The rest just seem like cards.
They are cards. They have no icons. You don't take them.
No.
All right, so we go into the 7s, and we start with Fleet of Foot, which has, I think all these have fate icons on them. Yep. Once per round, before you travel, you may move 1 space. Sprint 1. Nothing to fear. You do not provoke attacks. Just plain and simple, and it also has guard 2. Campfire Tales. At the end of your turn, you may discard the skill for you and a nearby hero to scout 2, and then it's hide and rest 2. And Path Less Traveled. Before you travel, you may discard this card to become hidden. Sprint 2.
Okay, let's rewind to nothing to fear here.
Yeah, definitely.
You do not provoke attacks, period.
Yep.
No discarding of this card. Nothing.
It's just a thing that happens now.
Holy crap.
Really good. Because I think Burglar has something similar, but you have to be hidden and then you don't provoke.
Yeah, it did. And
this is just better.
It is. It's got guard 2 if you need it, but you most of the time would want to just leave this in play as long as you can.
Yeah.
On a battle map, it means you can dart around doing other things if you don't want to be one of the ones fighting.
Mm-hmm.
On a journey map, it means you can completely ignore they'll still move and try to attack you on their turns, but
then you just leave.
yeah. This is bonkers.
Really good.
This is like, once you have 7 Traveler experience, it's hard for me to imagine not having this in my deck.
I mean, the only other one that I absolutely loved reading was Fleet of Foot, and just being able to, hey, when you travel, it's moved 3 spaces instead of 2 every time you travel, or once per round, but how many times are you really going to travel more than 3 spaces?
Yeah, that is pretty nuts, actually.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
And how often is moving 1 extra space basically as good as another move action? Because what you wanted to get to is 3 spaces away.
Exactly. It's almost always the case.
Yeah, I think this one is much less good on battle maps because 2 spaces is enough to get like halfway across the map anyway.
Yeah,
or two-thirds of the way across the map. So yeah, not as much of a no-brainer to me as Nothing to Fear, but also very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Campfire Tales I like just because it's versatile.
Yep.
You know, like it's got it's you prep it and it generates another scout 2 for you and a nearby hero. So it's like taking your scout for this round and 1 round later, you're investing your scout.
Sure.
And it comes back with dividends, right?
It does. It yields up down the line.
Or if that is not appealing, it's got Hide and Rest, which are fine options. Like I like that card a lot. Paths Less Traveled.
Sprint 2.
Yeah, and yeah, Sprint 2, I guess, is the upside there. But I'd take Campfire Tales. Campfire Tales has the hide keyword, so I'd play that over Paths Less Traveled every time.
Yep.
Okay. Every game has to have a card called Wanderlust. So, wow. Now I'm thinking about Magic the Gathering and all the. This is actually like a really common card name. But this is a success that costs 12 XP. After you interact, you may discard this skill to perform 1 additional action and gain 1 inspiration. And it has Hide. And then Forgotten Roads. At the start of your turn, you may discard this skill for you and a nearby hero to move up to 2 spaces without provoking attacks. Okay, so Forgotten Roads seems pretty amazing. It's a success. So sometimes you'll choose not to prep it. Usually if you do prep it, it's because you want to. You can see that it's a situation where it would be good to use that turn.
Right now, yeah.
Right? Like it triggers at the start of your turn, so you'll just prep it, go first, and then immediately use it so the success is back in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they're both good. They're not super flashy, but they're both really solid.
Yeah. They're both action efficiency. Forgotten Roads provides basically 2 free actions for your fellowship, right? 2 free moves, and they don't provoke attacks. That's nuts. And then Wanderlust is an additional action and an inspiration.
Yeah, that you can't beat that. Have an extra action, also have some inspiration, and the success is back in your deck.
Yeah, these cards are great. So definitely, I think that our take from the original cards is completely right. You'll multi-class out of it for a lot of scenarios, but there's plenty of good stuff to spend that XP on when you're not focused, when you're not a traveler. So I will be very happy to start the campaign as a traveler and then swap in and out of it as we go. Yeah, I think that's super cool. All right, the main events. Gandalf is in this box. Yeah, the last character, and because it's Gandalf, like probably as strong as the rest of the characters combined, right? Like
I would think.
Yeah, and he's all powerful. Whose turn is it to read?
I think it's your honor.
Sweet. All right. Gandalf is an Istari who has 4 wisdom, 4 spirit, and 2 of everything else.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's not middle of the road on anything.
I like that.
Notably, we haven't always read the damage and fear, but he has 6 fear, 6 damage, which adds up to 12. Everyone else adds up to 10. So yeah, so far better than everyone else. I think he's delivering. Yeah. Once per round, after you discard a prepared skill with a fade icon, you may gain 1 inspiration and scout 1. Okay, so we're back to Arwen, who introduced like caring about fade icons prepared, right?
Yeah, and it's good. It's very, very good. Because it's not like you have to, hey, discard this prepared skill to use this ability. It's just after you do this thing to get an ability from this prepared skill, you also can gain an inspiration and scout one. And scout 1.
Yeah, and I think you build your deck around this, right? Because you're getting this constant income of inspiration, it's fine to put less successes into your deck and more fade icons because you just have so much inspiration. So yeah, I think you build a deck with like as many level 7 cards as possible. Load up on the fate icons so that you're just constantly discarding them, gaining inspiration. And you take things like, actually, I think Resourceful is a success card. But you take cards that gain inspiration in other ways. And then that's just, you just have no successes in your deck and just spend as many inspiration as you need every time. I see like a whole new deck archetype here. I like it. What are his cards?
Let's find out. We have the Grey Pilgrim.
Wow, I'm fanning these out. There are no successes on these cards. I think I was onto something here.
Oh, you are correct. All right. I guess we've you nailed the archetype before even we saw it. So it has the fate icon. Once per round, when you scout, you may reveal one additional card. So you don't have to always do that during the rally phase.
Yeah, you can use it to turn his ability Scout 1 into a Scout 2.
That's good. Sorry, I got distracted. Guard 2.
It happens to the best of us.
And then we go into Uncanny, which has 2 fate icons. During your turn, you may discard the skill to search your deck for a weakness. Remove that skill from the adventure, then shuffle your deck. We have Flame Imperishable. When you prepare the skill, gain 1 inspiration.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when you test, you may discard this skill to convert a fate to a success. Also, note there's no inspiration there. Oh,
I'm just looking at it.
And then we have Greater Power, which that's good art.
It's good text too.
It is good text too.
Take a deep breath.
It has Strike 2, Sprint 2, Guard 2, Rest 2, Hide. So every ability to and hide.
Yep.
And finally, we have Dazzling Flash, 2 fate icons, Tactic. When you attack an enemy in your space, discard the skill to add Smite and Stun to the attack.
I would say Gandalf is delivering. I wanted him to be special. I was hoping that Gandalf would not kind of just feel like, he's kind of just another Lord of the Rings, Journeys of Middle-earth hero. He's very different from everyone else.
At all like any. And I was just about to say, do you ever, I was going to say, do you ever play Gandalf without Gandalf? But you can't. So
you can't multi-class out of his Gandalf cards. So.
We'll see if the Meddler feels the same way. But these feel great for Gandalf. His ability is very unique. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Uncanny. You're only going to prep it 1 time per game, but it removes your weakness. Just takes that out of the deck. Seems solid.
It seems okay.
Flame Imperishable gives you an inspiration when you prepare it, and it is an inspiration, right?
Yep.
Like this, having this prep is
is
exactly like having an inspiration.
Also,
Greater Power is actually probably the worst card here, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, but also like, do you kind of want to prep that too? And I think it's almost like prepping your weakness in a way where it's like, I don't really want to use this right now, but when I need it, it's gonna be great. Not like a weakness in that way, but you always want to like, let's just get it out of the deck because it's no success.
Yeah, you want to get the fail out of your deck, and then the thing is, you don't want your prepared card row with Gandalf to be full of fail cards because you want options for cards with fate icons to discard for his power, right? So you got to be careful with that.
True. Discard a skill with fate. No, that's true. That's how he gets his extra power, inspiration, and scout.
But true. Yeah, it does seem like what this card wants to do is be prepared, be out of your deck, and then just be flexible. You just can constantly think about like, will a strike 2 be clutch here? Then I've got it. Do I need to sprint? Yep. Then I can. He just becomes super versatile when he has this.
Yep. And the Grey Pilgrim, I think you prep whenever you can. Giving extra scout.
Agreed. Yeah, leave that in play if you can. It's really good to be able to scout extra when you have a power that lets you scout 1.
Mm-hmm. And then Dazzling Flash, discarding to add Smite and Stun. Stun is one of the best keywords in the game, and Smite is also great.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, hey, you get Smite at the beginning of the campaign, but actually so far we've never seen a need for Smite early in a campaign.
True.
So maybe that's actually not that exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to add Stun to an attack And then, of course, you're spending a fate card, getting inspiration and scouting for his ability. Okay, Gandalf seems great.
I'm sold.
He is recommended to be the Meddler, and that sounds like him. So if he's the Meddler, he'll start with the card Nosy. It says, once per round, you may look at the top card of any hero's skill deck. If it's a card with a fate icon, that hero gains 1 inspiration.
Oh.
And then Guidance, he has 2 copies. It's a success. Before a hero in your space tests, you may discard this skill for that hero to scout 2. And it has Hide. Hide feels a little weird on a card called Guidance.
Yeah. Let me show you how to jump into this bush.
Yeah. Okay, Guidance seems like a success card to me.
Yep.
Nosy, though. What's strange about Nosy to me is it doesn't specify when to use it. It just says once per round. So can you use this out of turn during the shadow phase? Like any time in the round? I guess.
I don't see why not.
So there are kind of 2 ways you can use it. You can use it right after the rally. So someone can say, hey, I put a fate icon on top of my deck so you can give me an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can use it at a clutch moment where someone's about to take a test and has no inspiration, and it's a Hail Mary to get them one.
Sure.
Right? Both seem good.
It doesn't discard. I mean, it's just generating an inspiration once around. And again, if you're planning it out, if you're playing a 3-4 player game, people are likely going to be like, hey, I have an inspiration, or I have a fate on top of my deck if you can give me an inspiration. So it's going to be generating an inspiration around, I'd say, for the most part.
Sure, most of the time. Yeah. Seems good.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Well, let me whisper it in your ear as I read gossip.
Are there? Oh my god. I was wondering whether...
Oh my god. I understand why you... Well,
okay, go on. We'll get to that. Go ahead.
All right, so there are only 2 level 3 cards in Meddler. One is called Gossip. When you or a nearby hero tests Wisdom, you may discard the skill for that hero to gain 1 boon. Rest 2. Also, Fast Talking. When you interact with a person token and test, you may discard the skill to add 2 successes and scout 1.
Okay, all I really want to do is keep reading.
I like Fast Talking.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's also strike 2. I don't think I said that.
That's true. Which I like the flavor of strike 2. It's like
you're just like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. You're right. I think that's a good card. It's niche because you only interact with a person token a couple times in adventure at most.
Yep.
And on battle maps, probably not at all. But it's fine. It's fine. I want to find out more about why there were only 2 level 3s.
So, let's find out.
So I'm going to read the only 2 level 7s, which are Interfering. It has a fate icon and says, when a nearby hero interacts and would test, you may discard the skill to perform that test instead. All effects still target the original hero, and it has sprint 1. And then Ancient Legend. During your turn, you may discard this skill to swap your deck and your discard pile, then shuffle your deck.
I have questions about.
I don't. I think that card is bonkers. That's great.
So you swap your discard pile with your deck. So you flip this card over and you flip your deck over. Is that the idea?
Yeah. So when you have that first that frustrating test where like, okay, I needed 2 successes and I just drew all 4 of my successes. Yes. Now they're in my discard pile, and I know that whatever else I try to do this round, I'm gonna fail. This lets you take those and just put them back. Just do that awesome test again. This is maybe not actually all that good, just because I just described like a not that common a situation. But I really like the idea of it.
Yeah, the one time when it comes in handy, you'll really be proud of yourself.
Right. And it's a fate icon that you can trigger at will during your turn to trigger if you're playing Meddler as Gandalf, trigger his ability at will. So never really a card that you'll regret having, at least, because you can always just cycle it, scout one, and gain an inspiration.
Yep.
I think that seems good.
Yep.
How useful do you think interfering is? This is the first time I think we've seen this. You take a test for someone else.
Mm-hmm. So I think it is. I think it is really helpful because you're playing a game that's cooperative. That your weaknesses are shored up by your, friend.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, like, think about the situation where you're playing Gandalf and you have 3 inspiration in the bank. You're feeling good, and someone goes down to fear, and they have 0 inspiration, and they have to make a last stand test of spirit or wisdom. If you could just step in and be like, hey, so we don't lose this game right now, let me take this test for you.
Well, last stand, this specifies interacts.
Oh, sorry.
So it doesn't save last stand. That said, the more I think about it, I think the more I like it.
Yeah.
We recently did an adventure where you needed to find the way out, and each of the possible ways was a different skill, and we kept going. Right, that was with you, or was that with another group?
I can't remember now. I played the scenario, and I just can't remember. If it was with you.
I think it's what we played together.
Okay.
But yeah, so this all of a sudden, if someone accidentally is like, oh, I have, I am Gimli, I have 1 agility, and I accidentally walked into an agility test with the objective of the scenario on the line.
Yeah.
Maybe agility is a bad example because Gandalf doesn't want to just swing in and take that agility test either. But yeah, there are definitely times when you can swing into someone's rescue once you see what a test is that was not obvious what it was going to be. So yeah, I think there's a use case here. My first reaction to it was well, I've been kind of down on cards that just let you switch what skill you're testing. So it's maybe not that good, but the combination of switching what skill you're testing, or switching what amount you're testing at, and maybe Gandalf is sitting on 5 inspiration. The person who would be taking the test is out of inspiration.
I think that's the real key. I think if you're in a much better situation, what's on top of your deck, that you have a lot of inspiration to spend. That's when you trigger this card.
Yeah. Okay. Some good 7s, but still not the most interesting thing in the stack, I'm sure. What are the 12s?
All right. Do we do all 5 12s right here?
No, it's not 5 12s. Give us the 3 12s.
Oh my. I did not get that far. All right. The 3 12s start with Contemplation, and that has a fate icon, which is pretty unique for a 12.
It's true.
You may have up to 6 prepared skills at the same time. If the skill is discarded, we lose that threshold, and we have to discard a 4. It also has Rest 2.
Okay.
We have Flattery. At the start of the rally phase, you may discard the skill for you and each nearby hero to prepare 1 skill with a fate icon from their discard pile. And Hidden Plans, also a success, as was Flattery. During your turn, you may discard this skill to scout 4 and prepare up to 3 additional cards.
Oh.
Wow.
These all seem really good. I don't think you want a multi-class out of the Meddler. I think you want a million Meddler experience and to take all these cards.
Gandalf is the best Meddler, and he also never leaves.
Yeah. Everything I was saying about how there's a little bit of a give and take where you want to leave the failure cards sitting in play, as you always do, but Gandalf wants to have fate icons prepared, and so there's a little bit of push and pull here. Contemplation kind of fixes that, right?
It does.
Just lets you prep 2 more cards.
Yeah, I think Contemplation is maybe even the first one you take, because I don't know. They're all really good. I can't make a decision of that.
Oh man, yeah. Flattery, discard the skill for you and each nearby hero to prepare up to 1 skill with fate from their discard pile. Actually, okay. So at the start of the rally phase, so this is right before the reshuffle, I guess. Okay, so everyone has maximum discard pile.
Yep.
Right. It seems really good. it seems
Seems
like
great.
everyone's gonna have a lot of options. Everyone, I know you and each nearby hero, so those damn self-sufficient people are gonna miss out. other than them, everyone gets a skill from lots of options that are surely in the discard pile. It seems nuts. And then
fate for Gandalf.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And then hidden plans. Discard this card to scout for and prepare up to 3 additional cards. I don't think you want this until you have contemplation, or at least you don't get the full benefit of prepping. 3 additional cards means you can scout for and prep all 4 of them.
Yep. So I guess if you have nothing else prepared besides hidden plans, you can just fill up your box.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's not bad either.
Yeah, that's busted. This is so good.
Well, Gandalf has not disappointed. I know this is the Meddler class and anyone could take it, but I feel it especially suits him.
It really does. And then it's got yet another way it's special. I'm gonna read some 16 XP cards.
Yeah, you do that.
I think that this has the same number of total cards. It just has 1 less 3 and 1 less 7.
Mm-hmm.
Or two less 7s.
2 less 7s.
Yeah, and then it had an extra 12, and then now these 2 16s, they are both successes. They are quick temper. Before you strike with a skill, add 2 modifiers of your choice to the attack and strike 3. And then strong opinion, which is a good name for a card.
That's a great name.
When you test, you may add 1 success for each knowledge skill you have prepared. If you do, discard this skill. And it's got guard too, so you can talk someone out of hitting you so hard, I guess.
Quick temper.
Quick temper.
The boss slaying card of all boss slaying cards.
Right? Yeah, add smite and lethal or pierce and stun, whatever you need for the situation. The only caveat to this, I would say, is that nothing we've seen in Gandalf's kit leads us to think he wants to be attacking very often at all. But I think you would do the occasional attack if you have quick temper in play.
I think so.
And can add strike 3 and 2 modifiers to the attack is going to make just about any attack great.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously thought of the scene in the Hobbit hole where Gandalf is, don't tempt me, Frodo, with the quick temper, right?
Yep.
I was like, if he wanted to kill Bilbo at that moment, it would have
been over. Short movie.
Or no, wait, no, I'm thinking of 2 different scenes. It's I'm not trying to rob you, I'm trying to help you.
Oh, well. That's right. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the movies or read the books. Yep. So anything you say about them, I will just believe you. I'm not I will not challenge you if you're wrong quoting them, so.
I love this game.
So interestingly, Gandalf is recommended to start with the walking stick and the sword. So he actually it suggests that he dual wields.
I see that.
I don't really know what to do with that. Walking stick is the new wisdom weapon. The sword is might though, right?
So
I don't think I even have it in front of me because it's from the core set.
I think we talked about this in our other video review, but the sword at level 3 incorporates wisdom into the attack. So I think it's kind of like
eventually you level it up.
He's gonna be hobbling as Gray for 2/3, and then like he turns to
all of a sudden Gandalf the White
grabs the sword.
All powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, actually that's actually pretty badass.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of what they're going for with that concept.
That's pretty sweet. And then strong opinion. I'm guessing that a lot of his cards are knowledge because he's Gandalf. Greater power is, I'm like flipping through, nosy is. So a lot of the cards that you want to leave in play are knowledges. So by the time you've got quick temper, strong opinion, you are just going to discard it for 2, 3, 4 successes. Seems good.
All 3 of the level 12s are knowledges, and gossip is knowledge as well as a level 3.
So you want both of the 16s, all 3 of the 12s.
We just need a 25-page campaign.
Yeah, right. Man, okay. I think we ended on a high note. Gandalf is by far the one. I I think all these characters are interesting and good additions to the game, but Gandalf is one that like blew my mind here. I'm super excited to try him out. Dibs on him in our next campaign.
That's fine.
I'll just be the meddler. You can do a 10 class multi-class.
I love that.
Everyone will be happy.
I will have all of the null successes in my deck. All level 3s.
A level 3 from every roll. How can you go wrong?
I'll be great. Super helpful.
All right. Any overall thoughts on the box?
I'm really glad it exists. I found the core contents, as we talked about, really great contents, but when you're playing a 5-player game, it's just not that feasible. Like you just run in, everyone has to stay in their lane. And now with all these new classes and, weapons and characters we can play, it really opens up the game to, hey, you want to have a full support team where we all like just avoid combat and don't provoke attacks of opportunity? Let's try it.
A full support team where we just give each other inspiration until we somehow win.
Yeah, exactly. like the pacifist brothers, and don't provoke attacks, stay hidden, and just like slip under the radar the whole time.
I love it. I completely agree. It's really blown the options wide open, and you're completely right. 4 or 5 players before worked. I expressed concerns about the balance too, which this doesn't address. But it has finally given you like the options to where now 6 scenarios in, and when you have 24 XP in your current class in a 5-player campaign, you can actually start talking about, oh, maybe we should start multi-classing, and that doesn't have to mean trading roles and taking the dregs that are left of each other's roles. Yeah, which was kind of the only way to do it before.
Definitely. It's like, well, there's no level 12 left in this role, but I guess I'll get like this level 3 or
right. Yeah. And then Gandalf is just like, so 4 of the 5 characters are very much could have been in the core box, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, not that anything would have stopped Gandalf from being in there, but that's the one that feels like, okay, this is an expansion that is showing that there's some space for characters to stand out as playing very differently from the rest. And I hope that this is the direction in the future. I don't want box after box after box of pretty similar characters. Like, I want Gandalf to be the way that the game goes moving forward, to where the characters feel quite different.
Yes, I was a little bit hoping that those 16s might have, like, one of them might have 2 success icons or a success and a fate, because I was like, I wonder if they're going to do that in this box, because we saw a little bit of 2 fate icons on random cards that weren't test of will in the core, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I like that kind of changes up the people's pool, but I was hoping for a pretty, plain Jane 16 XP card that was just like, hey, this is 2 successes. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, there's design space there. The expansions will get there.
Sure.
I think that these are not the only 2 icons we will see on cards before this game has run its course.
That's interesting.
Maybe the card that has 2 successes on it will have a 3rd icon that means take 1 damage when you draw this in a test, right? Like, maybe it has a trade-off.
Jealousy type, you're going to push through this test, but you're not coming out unscathed.
Right. Yeah, I think they could put icons on the card that, do extra damage if they come up in an attack. Like, I think that there's actually, maybe it's just because I enjoy Keyforge and it's been doing a lot with its icons in the corner of the cards lately, where it has cards where what those cards do is print icons on other cards. Literally print. The ink is there. Keyforge is a very strange game.
you sleeve it in like a translucent sleeve that has a little extra icon now, so that
no, it's are you not familiar?
I'm not.
It's a keyword that keyword only takes effect when the deck is printed at the factory. Literally, if card A is in your deck, it has a keyword that says enhance. It has like enhance and then a damage icon. And what that does is it makes a damage icon literally printed on a different card somewhere in your deck.
Unreal. That is really cool. I like that a lot.
Keyboard is not a perfect game, but it is exploring design space that no game
And no game could ever do.
could ever do. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is super cool. So anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent, but I do think that the test system, the icons for success and everything has a lot of design space that I think we'll see explored eventually.
Cool.
So this, other than Gandalf, this box kind of just feels like more a core set. It didn't think outside the box all that much.
No.
So I'm excited to see it go in that direction in the future. But all in all, I want to play some Lord of the Rings. Maybe we should go so that we can play games instead of talking about them.
That'd be a nice change.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, this came in a little shorter than our core set video, right? Not
Well,
a
like
lot.
one character shorter, right?
Yeah. So if you stuck with us through 2 hours of Lord of the Rings talk, we appreciate it. We'd also appreciate your feedback in the comments, your likes, your subscribes. We, in addition to talking about games, if you're new to Optimal Play, we have lots of playthroughs of games that we edit down, film them on multi cameras, edit them like a TV show, try to make them as entertaining as possible. So yeah, check that out. We think they're fun. Hopefully you might too. Kyle, thank you for joining me. Thank you for literally making me wake up this morning
You're welcome.
to talk games. It was worth it.
It was.
All right. Well, until next time, be optimal.
That was some good discussion, Brandon.
It sure was, Kyle. And I think past Kyle and past Brandon covered the outro pretty well there, but cheers, we did it.
We made it.
Here's to us.
We're great.
Here's to you for tolerating hours of us
That is quite the achievement.
talking about Lord of the Rings Journey to Middle-earth. Again, if you'd let us know what other games you think that it would be fun to do a delve into the cards or other aspects of the game, let us know. Like, subscribe, send us cash.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Kyle?
Fan mail. I'll put the address in the comments.
Well, all right. We'll put Kyle's address in the description below.
Yeah, fan mail.
Send him anything you think that he should get.
Yep.
And until
no
then,
hold bar.
we'll be back soon with more card talks, gameplay videos, live streams, all the stuff we do on Optimal Play. Till then, be optimal. Crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it.
Cheers.
Cheers. I've been going a little faster than you.
Small sips are key.
Mm-hmm.